So this is a video about me setting up a new oyster mushroom bed in my garden. So I went to a toolkit, a local bookshop called the Arcade Bookshop in Littlehampton, and it was about mushrooms by a company called the Caley Brothers, who, funnily enough, specialise in mushrooms. So the bed I've picked is just a small raised bed at the base of my compost heap. That way it gives it a nice bit of shelter, but it still does get rain and a bit of light. So here I'm just putting a bit of clean cardboard at the bottom of the bed. The reason I do this is to suppress the weeds. As you can see there, I have got a few pests in the area, so I'll just remove that now and put it in the compost bin to help break down the organic matter. We don't kill anyone in this garden. We work with nature, not against it. And then I'm just using rainwater that I've captured in my water butt to wet the base. Everything to do with mushrooms is to do with moisture. They hate being dry. Once I've done that, I'm just adding a layer of straw. This straw I just bought from a local pet shop. It was quite difficult to get out of the bag because it was quite heavily compressed, but it did mean that quite a small bag went a long way, which is good. So once I've finished this, I can start thinking about adding the mycelium. And what mycelium is basically the starter that I purchased from the Caley Brothers. And I got it in a pack, and what I'm just going to do is I'm going to crumble it all across the top of that straw. And then at each level, I'm going to give it a good water, because like I said before, mushrooms hate being dry. So at every level, they're going to get a good soaking with the watering can. So here is the mycelium. So yeah, I'm just going to crumble it on top, spreading it over as much as I can. If I get any big lumps, all I'm going to do is I'm going to pick them up like you see there and crumble it into finer bits. So I'm just working my way across the bed. It's not a huge raised bed, probably 1 metre by half a metre. It was just a cheap raised bed that I bought in Aldi a couple of years ago. So I'm just repurposing it now because I fancy growing some mushrooms, seeing how we can do. As you can see, still spreading the mycelium. This variety is grey oyster mushroom. And now I'm just putting another layer of straw. Some people call this the lasagna method. So what you do is you put straw, some mycelium, straw, mycelium, and straw. So that's what I'm going to do. As you can see, I'm just again spreading the straw all over the top of the mushroom mycelium. And then getting my watering can, giving it another good soak. Once I've given it another good soak, I get more mycelium and start spreading it across the top of that straw. Now I believe that this particular culture that I've purchased from the Caley Brothers is on wood pellets. But you can use all sorts of different, I think people use grains, coffee grounds, all sorts of interesting stuff you can get as a mushroom culture. So now another layer of straw. Just spreading that over the top in layers, and then I'll give it another good wet with the watering can. Also, you don't only need to use a bed. What you'll see later in this video is to increase my ability to harvest mushrooms. I've actually put some mycelium in some of my planters. So what I've done is just put a layer of straw around it's in a cucumber pot or cucumber plant pot. Just put some straw around the base, another layer of the mycelium, and then another layer of straw. So we'll see how that goes as well. Again, giving everything a good water. And then a bit more mycelium. Just spreading it across the top, making sure we've got every opportunity to get a good harvest of the grey oyster mushrooms. And this is the final layer of straw. Also, what I'm going to do is, because the cats like to dig up anything like freshly made beds, I'm just going to put a couple of wire panels over the top, just so they can't dig it all up, just so it has a chance to bed in a little bit. You can see watering everything again, so lots and lots of water, lots of mycelium, lots of straw, and it'd be interesting to see what we get. The weather at the moment is pretty mild, so hopefully it won't dry out, but if so, I will have to wet it again. And this is just the raised the planter with a cucumber plant. As you can see, I've put the straw there, mycelium on top, and then more straw, and then I've just watered it in the same way that I've been watering the mushroom bed. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.